And we're back. Hello and welcome again to Unrest Digest. I haven't posted in a while, but nobody's watching anyway. I did have a video taken down for jab misinformation. I may have said something about children involving in it, and I don't really know what I said, and I don't really care at this point. But I'm going to keep doing it, keep doing videos, not doing yeah, I'm going to keep getting my videos banned. Yeah, that's going to work out well. That's not what I meant. But yeah, anyway, let's get into the video. Gary Lineker says he does not fear BBC suspension over asylum policy tweet. Gary, what have you said now? I've not actually read this. I've not actually heard anything about it. I'd be interested. I bet you, I'll be really upset. And there is a small chance, I do believe, that they've not even included his tweet in the article. Isn't he paid quite a lot by BBC? I don't think that's, was it, or is he too, or gets a lot of money from those Pringles adverts anyway, I know that much. So I'm sure he's not worried, but personally I would like him to go because I just think it'd be funny. No, then he'll say, I got cancelled, and then next thing you know, he's appearing on Joe Rogan or something. Yeah, he's not really in that category, is he? I've accidentally clicked on the video. Oh, he's saying something. Can you hear this? He said good morning, apparently.
The Director General said anything to you? What's he said?
He said, well, we have a chat, we chat after.
Anything about the tweet, Gary? Do you regret sending the tweet at all?
No.
You stand by what you said?
Sorry?
You stand by what you said?
Does he stand by it? Oh, of course. Oh, but what did Gary say? I know this isn't really the most important thing, but it was just the first news article that I've seen come up. I've not actually done much research. I've been listening to news, but it's all US based, and I wanted to find something a bit more closer to home. Oh, hang on. So let's read this article. Sorry, a little read ahead, and it looks quite exciting. Gary Lineker said he does not fear BBC suspension in an impartiality row over a tweet criticising the government's asylum policy. The match of the day is supposed to be talking about football, mate. Unless we've got some like up and coming asylum seeker for the England team. Yeah, I know the irony. I know. I get, but you know what I'm saying. I don't know how long. I don't know the rules in football when it comes to nationality and stuff. Or I don't know. Maybe Manchester United signed some asylum seeker and he's like a great up and comer. That's the only time I want Gary Lineker to comment on this stuff. However, he did say he was going to open up his house, and I think he did take some Ukrainian women and children, I believe, or some families. I'm not quite 100% sure on that. Maybe he backtracked. I can't remember. It's not important. Anyway, I'll actually read it now. We're 3 minutes in. The match that the day has tweeted is looking forward to presenting the show on Saturday. Lineker has compared the language the government used to set out asylum plans that used by the Germans in the 30s. Jesus. Is he calling the Tories Nazis? Oh, wow. I've not heard that one. It's pretty harsh language you're using there, Gary. Speaking to the BBC, the Home Secretary said the comment diminishes the unspeakable tragedy of the Holocaust. So are they going to say that Gary Lineker is an anti-Semite now? Is that the way they're going? It's just Gary Lineker versus the media. I'm just like, I'll just eat popcorn. I don't really care who wins this. Despite the intense criticism, Lineker expects to be retained as presenter. The BBC has not commented. Also, I went to look up the BBC about something to do with Sikhism, and the BBC told me apparently that Sikh women shouldn't drink because they have problems with it. They have drinking issues. That's what the BBC said to me. I don't believe that. I've not heard of it before. I will do some further research to see what the hell they were on about. Maybe I'll read the article, but that was the headline. So from 2017, a little bit racist there, BBC. That was a side note, sorry. The Home Secretary said her family feel, hang on, I think I've read, Suella Braverman, I've told, sorry, I think I've, anyway, wrote on social media, having this ridiculous out of proportion story seems to be abating, very much more presenting, thank you for incredible support, blah, blah, blah. Suella Braverman told the BBC's Political Thinking podcast the Nazi comparison used by Lineker was lazy and unhelpful. Yeah, I think that's a fair comment. The Home Secretary said her family feel very keenly the impact of the Holocaust, as her husband is Jewish and so it was offensive to draw the comparison. When it was put to her by host Nick Robinson that Lineker was passionate about the rights of asylum seekers, she said the Germany comment was an unhelpful way to frame the debate. Yeah, very unhelpful, because I don't understand how stopping people from travelling over to England on boats and staying in France has got anything to do with Nazi Germany or us during World War II, unless you want to make some weird Dunkirk comparison. You know, I mean, it's in the same place as these battles between the United Kingdom and Nazi Germany. That's about as close as you're going to get. But in the 30s, yeah, I don't remember Adolf Hitler making these long rants about asylum seekers. I've not heard any. I don't think they even had. Maybe they did back then, actually. I'm not sure if they had asylum seekers. I don't know how it went. They probably just moved around and asked for work. The BBC said on Wednesday it was having a frank conversation with Lineker about the BBC's guidelines on remaining impartial. BBC, we remain impartial and we expect you to go. Okay. Asked by a reporter if he regretted the Paris host answered no, we heard that. Pressed on whether he had spoken to BBC Director General, this is going to get really boring. He said he had the chat often, of course. Speaking in the comments early on Thursday, Culture Secretary Lucy Fraser said Lineker's rant was disappointing and inappropriate and referenced a grandmother who escaped Nazi Germany. That's how it is though, isn't it? It's just like everyone who has some kind of relative that's Jewish is going to be like, Gary, I know someone who knows someone who knows someone whose father's granddaughter's great-granddad was in a concentration camp. So I find your comments really reprehensible. It's just like, sorry, that was a bit of a stretch, but you can criticize it without actually having any relatives who were in Nazi Germany or in the concentration camps or whatever, you know what I mean? Important for the BBC to retain impartiality. Okay, whatever. Former Secretary Sir John I can't be bothered reading all these names. Whittingdale. He added the policy was full of fudge and BBC needed to clarify to what extent impartiality rules extend beyond news. Did he just bring this up like during Match of the Day or something? Sorry, it was on Twitter, wasn't it? Well, he can say what he wants outside of it. You know, I don't really care what he says, but I don't care about Swallow Braveman. Outlined the government plans to ban people arriving in the UK legally from ever claiming asylum. Oh, so I thought it meant just going to ban people over here illegally. We're making it double illegal. So now you definitely won't break those laws. So you can only claim asylum if you claim it legally. I think that makes some kind of sense. But they'll just say, oh, but we have no other way of doing it. France is such... Yeah, France is really not that bad. You can stay in France. Just like Trump's Remain in Mexico policy, I think it was, or something along those lines, where you can apply for asylum, but you have to stay in Mexico whilst your asylum claim is being looked at, which I understand is a bit different actually, because Mexico, if you're being surrounded by the cartel and you're remaining in Mexico and you're like, Mr. Trump, can you hurry up with my case? You know what I mean? Like, it's a bit different, whereas France is a completely safe country. I'm not saying Mexico is unsafe, but they have their issues with the cartel. That's why people are going from Mexico to the US. You get what I'm saying. Sorry. That was me getting annoyed myself. In response to some criticism, I'll continue to try and speak up for those poor souls who have no choice. Okay. Is that what he said? Fair enough. Lineker 62% match. It works for La Liga. There's a lot more on here. The corporation's former director Richard Ards said Lineker must consider whether to stay or leave and become a social media influencer. Oh God, please don't. Mr. Ayer, former member. So I'm trying to read these little paragraphs as if any of them are worth mentioning. We're in 9 minutes, so I'm going to close this off in a sec. As well, Tyndale may have led to the sport presenter to go. So I told BBC Radio 4's Today programme, I don't think he is going to have any choice but to let him go unless he can be certain that this is the end of it. That wasn't the one I was reading. So, former member of the broadcasting, Mr. Ayer, a former member of the Broadcasting Regulators Ofcom's Content Board, said it was unacceptable to have someone who works at the BBC comparing Suella Braverman to the Third Reich. I'm sure they call her a lot worse behind closed doors. You know what they always say about Tories? Well, they say a lot of things, to be honest. And then maybe once each side has scored, hang on, from left to right, the chairman and Gary Lineker, and then score, look, get back to normal business. I don't know what you mean by that. The former BBC trustee was also asked the BBC chairman, Richard Sharp. There's too many names in here. He was facing criticism over his role facilitating an end to 2011 for then Prime Minister Boris Johnson. I don't really care about if he was a bit corrupt. Everyone knows he probably was. That wasn't the issue that we all had with him. Anyway, maybe we'll get on to Boris in a future video, especially with all those leaks, and maybe I should cover that. Maybe I will tomorrow. I'll actually have a read through and try and find the good messages, because I've only seen like 2 or 3 pictures of the chats between Matt Hancock and other people like Boris and someone else. But anyway, I'm going to leave that there. And so thanks for watching, and please like, comment, subscribe, or do whatever. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.